Okay, this is going to be a pretty quick chapter that's just going to act as a primer for some of the tools that we're going to use in the Specials menu in Edit mode. And it's a good thing to always keep the left side toolbar open in the 3D view when you're working with the Specials menu, because when we use the tools from that menu, there's going to be some options for it over in the bottom panel here. So bring up the left side toolbar by pressing the T key and select the default cube and press the Tab key to go into Edit mode. Now let's start out by pressing the W key, and here's the Specials menu. Lots of cool tools in here. Select Subdivide, which I know we've used before, but I'm just going to go over it again. And it subdivided all the faces of the cube. Now over here, in the bottom part of this toolbar, we have some options for subdivisions. So number of cuts, default is 1. We can increase that 2, 3, 4, 5, however many subdivisions we want. And there's also a field for smoothness. You can change that from 0 to 1, and it will smooth it as it subdivides it. And there's some other options down here, like fractal, for example. If you increase that, it kind of randomizes the subdivisions. So that is good for things like terrain if you want to create some random bumpiness. Alright, I'm going to press Ctrl and Z to get back to the default cube, and press W again for the Specials menu. And Subdivide Smooth is the same as what we just seen with Subdivide. If you click on that, it's going to subdivide it and add smoothness to it at the same time. So it's the same menu over here, except smoothness is not 0, it's at 1.0. Control Z that, press W again, and merge. Let's see. I'm going to select the top 2 left vertices there of the cube, and press the W key, and select merge. And it brings up some merge options. We can merge these 2 vertices at the first one I selected, or the last one, or the center, etc. So let's merge them at their center. So those 2 vertices became 1, and we used this before. I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to show you the usefulness of remove doubles. I'm going to select the top 4 vertices of the cube, press X, and I'm going to delete them. So we're left with just this flat plane. In top view, I'm going to select all of those vertices, press Shift D to duplicate, and I'm going to move it exactly next to it. So I'm going to move it over to the right 2 Blender units. Now, the vertices on the end of this square here, they're overlapping each other. There's actually 2 vertices in the same spot there and 2 vertices in the same spot there. Now if we border select that group of vertices and press the W key, select Remove Doubles, and if it worked, at the top here you'll see Remove 2 vertices. So that basically merged any overlapping vertices. So now there's just 2 there. And this is 1 object now instead of 2 planes. So that's how Remove Doubles works. Anything that's overlapping each other, anything that's in the exact same spot, it's going to merge those things together. So let me undo everything there and get our cube back. Now press the W key again, and here we have hide and reveal and select inverse. They're self-explanatory. And smooth, well, that's sort of like subdivide smooth, but it won't really work on a cube because there's not really enough detail to smooth it. So let me just quickly subdivide that a couple of times. And now if you press smooth, it's going to smooth it. And you can choose the number of times you want to smooth it. So undo that, and this Laplation smooth is just a different way of smoothing it. And it gives you some more control over it. Alright, inset faces, that's a fun one. So I'm going to undo the subdivisions I made, and let me select one face over here by selecting those 4 vertices. If you press the W key again and select Inset Faces, you'll see that it kind of extrudes it and scales it in for you. We have that extra face there that we can move. Let's just select those 4 vertices on the inside and move them in. So you get an idea for what inset faces does. It's cool because you can select, let's say, the top four there and the side there. So if I select these two faces and press the W key and select inset faces again, it's going to extrude them in like that. So let me select just the inside of this area now. And in front view, I'm going to move them in like that. Let's see how that looks. So it's just an interesting way to help you create some cool shapes. Alright, let me undo all of that. Back to our regular cube. Now, let's go down to the bevel option. This is a fun one. So if you select bevel and you move the mouse, you'll see that it gives us a smoother edge now. So I'm going to bevel it about that much. And over here in the toolbar we have some options for the bevel that we just created. If you change segments from 1 to 2 or even higher, it's going to make a much smoother bevel for us. And you can even change the thickness of the bevel with this field here. So I have the offset at 0.048 and at 5 segments. If you press tab to get out of edit mode, you can zoom in and take a look at the bevel we just created. So that's an easy way to give a cube some smooth edges. Now back in the specials menu, we have bridge edge loops. That's up next. So I'm going to delete everything actually. Press the X key, select vertices, and in top view, press Shift and A, and I'm going to add a circle. So let's say I have a circle there. I'm going to duplicate that and move that up there. So I have two circles here. Let's say I want to fill this in the middle. I want this to kind of be a slanted cylinder. I'm going to select both of these edge loops, which is basically a loop of edges. Press the W key and select Bridge Edge Loops. Boom. It will automatically add faces between the two circles. So now we have that slanted cylinder we wanted. Undo that. Let's get our cube back. And back in the specials menu, these two options here are the last ones I'll go over in this chapter. Shade smooth and shade flat are basically the same things that we see over in the left side toolbar there. So we can press W and select shade smooth, and we'll shade our selection smooth, or we can choose shade flat to make it flat again. And this works just based on your selection as well. Like we just select this angle here, press W and select shade smooth. You'll see that's the only part of the cube that's shaded smooth now, instead of the whole thing. I'm going to shade that flat again. It looks weird. Alright, so that's just a quick primer on some of the options you have in the specials menu.